Types of responses. We've got two types of responses. The first type of response is called taxis response. Taxis is also referred to as a tactic response. Response number two is a tropism response. Tropism response also can be referred to as tropic response. Taxis response or tactic is a locomotory response towards or from the stimuli. A locomotory response towards or away from the stimuli. Now, with the word locomotory response, it is then clear that then it is referring to a response associated with animals, because they are animals that locomote. So these are responses associated with the animals because they are the ones that locomote. So tactic response is a locomotory response towards or away from stimuli. It is influenced by nerve cells. Nerve cells responsible for receiving stimuli, transmitting stimuli, and effecting change. This tactic response is very fast. It occurs within short period of time and a response has been evoked. The response is temporary, meaning does not last. That after the stimuli for a while, because you responded because of this stimuli, then you can go back to the normal. If it was you are walking and then you accidentally stepped on a pin, you withdraw your leg. But afterwards, you continue walking because it is temporary. Taxis response or tactic responses. Types of tactic responses. We have positive taxis response. Positive. Positive here, it implies the response is towards the stimuli. That response is an organism moving towards the stimuli. For a simple example, we have sperm cells swimming towards the ova. Negative taxis is a response away from the stimuli. Organisms are moving away from what is causing the response, that is the stimuli. For instance, the earth were moving away from heat and burying itself into the soil is an example of negative taxis response. Mosquito moving away from a mosquito net is a negative tactic response. Maggot moving away from the source of light is negative. So the key word there is moving away. Types of taxis response. Types of taxis response. The taxis response, we have 1. Phototaxis, chemotaxis, thermotaxis, osmotaxis, reotaxis, and aerotaxis. You will notice that the first 3 words are implying the type of stimuli. For instance, the photo refers to light. Chemo refers to chemicals, which is the chemical or the stimuli. Thermal refers to temperature. Osmo refers to pressure. Reo refers to direction of air current. And aero refers to oxygen concentration. So by the pronunciation of the tactic response, it comes clear the type of stimuli that causes that response. Now, if then we've been asked to be able to explain ourselves, what is this phototaxis? It is a locomotor response to light intensity. A locomotor response to light intensity. Meaning then it can be towards light or away from light. Example, euglena, spirogyra, and fruit fly move towards light, therefore referred to as positive. Maggot and termite move away from light, therefore referred to as negative phototaxis. Chemotaxis, locomotor response to chemical concentration. Locomotor response to chemical concentration. Simple example, a sperm cell that has been deposited into the female reproductive system, moving towards the egg cell within the uterus, implying positive taxis, and that is a positive chemotaxis. Mosquito moving away from treated nets. They are moving away from the treated net. This is implying negative chemotaxis. Let's put our heads together for this question. There's a question there that we tend to reason together on this question. Now, an experiment was done using 3 petri dishes, A, B, and C. Petri dish A was covered with aluminium foil, while Petri dish C had bread crumbs placed inside. The 3 petri dish were joined to each other using bee wax. And connected to one another through a slit. That means a space that it can be a way out or a walk through at the sides. A dozen termites were placed in the middle petri dish, which is B. Middle petri dish, that is B. The figure below shows the results of the experiment. Study the experiment and answer the questions that follow. You will notice that of late, questions to do with the experimental have become the order of the day because they require patience, they require the synthesis of knowledge, which possibly most of the students don't have time for that. That is why then the examiner has discovered a weakness for the same. So we are encouraged to be patient and to have time to synthesize the question. Let's synthesize the question. There are three petri dish, A, B, C. In petri dish A, it is covered with aluminium foil. When we hear aluminium foil, what comes in our mind? This aluminium foil reflects away light. And when light is reflected away, therefore creates dark condition within this petri dish. Petri dish B, it is empty and plain, meaning that it is directly to the sunlight. That is the petri dish where a dozen of termites were placed. Petri dish C, representing the one that has bread crumb. Bread crumb here means chemicals. Chemicals. In between these petri dish have been joined together by bee wax for the purpose of sticking them together. But again, slits made to allow them to be able to move. Now, when these termites were placed in the middle petri dish, they started moving. And we are told these are the results after the experiment. The observation is clear-cut. Petri dish with the aluminium foil has 5 termites, while the petri dish with breadcrumbs has 7 termites. An implication that then the one with the breadcrumb attracted more termites. Therefore, meaning that then the chemicals, breadcrumbs are representing chemicals, attracts termites more than the light. But worst of all is the one in the middle, which the termites were able to run away from it. Let's go to the questions. First question, name 2 types of response demonstrated by the experiment. I have already synthesized the knowledge and therefore is asked to respond. It is then clear that the 2 types of response demonstrated here is negative phototaxis and positive chemotaxis. Negative and positive becomes keywords in the response.